Hi folks, welcome to the second of Dave at your desk. We're going to work through 5 exercises again, literally about 5 minutes worth of your time, just to try and get you a bit mobile if you've been sat at the desk. We're going to start off, and I'd like to imagine Lego bricks if you don't mind. Lego bricks here, 19 of them. We have a number of vertebrae that make up our spine. The ones near the top are pretty mobile and down at the bottom that they're not. What we're going to do is try to get you thinking of the 7 cervical and the 12 thoracic, starting nice up here and working our way down. So what we're going to do is slowly start bending our head and then down through the rest of our back and count the 7 cervical and the 12 thoracic. So in other words, we count to 19. I have no problems whether we're not specifically moving those at a time, but what I want to do is think one by one. I'm counting through as to my head, and I'm thinking here about each of the vertebrae, letting my arms lay down, and I'm thinking slowly moving them forward and counting. I'm picturing in my head one Lego brick, next Lego brick, next Lego. Keeping here still at the waist, slowly leaning down. Think about those bricks, just gently pop, pop. Hopefully we're not actually popping vertebrae, but the image might work for you. For some reason in my mind, I'm thinking 7 yellow and 12 red. And gently back up. How far you want to droop is up to you. I'm not worried about my lumbar spine here. That's not the area I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to focus on the top bit. We're going to go again. So slowly think, imagine in your mind those Lego bricks slowly. 1, 2, no idea what colour Lego bricks you're working through. So I'm dropping them from my neck, I'm thinking through to my shoulders, letting my arms hang down here. Think about them coming across my upper back. Next one, next one, next one. You're letting it almost like a dead weight just hang. Slowly back up again. We're going to do a side lat raise, and if you have yourself a stress ball around, or you can get one, they can work quite nicely here. So what I'm doing here, a side lat raise is normally an exercise we use in the gym, and it's where we take our arm usually from our waist height up to the side. And as we get to the top, we're looking for our shoulder to be going straight out to our elbow and straight out to our hand. The reason I'm using a stress ball, why not give it a little squeeze as you're going along there, squeeze it as you come up and gently back down. What often happens when people squeeze is they tend to hold their breath a little bit as well. Please don't do that. So nice and gently, give a little squeeze. The squeeze might just put our fingers through a little bit of movement, and if they've been stuck at a desk and our wrist has been rigid, it's been tapping away, then that's not going to help us a huge amount. Same on each one. Squeeze them as you go. The idea of this is that we're getting up for about 5 minutes. It's nice and slow, controlled range of motion. Not really that fussed about how many you're doing on each side. It's the fact of getting up and moving for a few minutes. Most of us might feel guilty that we're not responding to yet another email that's come through. But that's fairly normal and fine that we do this, but try to think about that, put that to one side just for a moment. Little squeezy ball there, perhaps get yourself a stress ball. Now in part 1 we did about hip adduction and abduction, so this time we're going to have a bit of flexion from here. So from here we're going to lift our leg up and push back. Come out the way so you can see a little bit, push and push back. Hold on to a wall if it helps you. The idea is moving our leg forward and pushing back. So we're taking a range of motion across this hip joint, and the hip joint is movable in many directions due to the type of joint that it is. Here we're just thinking about forwards and back. Hold on to a chair, hold on to a desk. If it's COVID safe to do so, hold on to your, and they don't mind, hold on to one of your colleagues. This may seem silly, but if your chair has casters on, then you might want to think about something a little bit more secure and not being too weight bearing on it. So all we're doing is coming forward and kicking back. By all means, you lift your leg higher, push it back further. If you're wearing clothes that are restrictive, then simply don't. Okay, I'm going to move through for a little hamstring stretch here. For me, my lower back gets very, very tight. So I'm just going to bend my legs. I'm going to put one leg out in front of me and sink down a little bit. My back's nice and straight, legs out in front. My hands, if I want to make it weight bearing, can put it onto my bent leg. My foot goes out in front there. Some people do like to point their toes in the air at this stage. That doesn't necessarily make it more for your hamstring, but you can feel a bit more behind there. If you're good, that's fine. Bring that leg in, push it out again, the other one out, sink back down, hands onto the bent leg. Don't ever put them across the knee. That knee doesn't want to go beyond its natural range of motion. And if you need to, point your toes in the air. Little shoulder roll as well. My shoulder's a little bit tight today. Finishing off with a calf raise. We're not worried about it being a gym-based one. Hold on for stability if you like. We're literally looking to pop up onto our toes and back down again. Now, if you're in an office or a space that has its some steps available, you could sink your heel a little bit lower. I suppose you could stand on the side of a book, but be mindful of property that we might accidentally be destroying here. It's gently through a range of motion. I'm not worried about our calf muscles having a particular workout here. I'm thinking about getting some movement, particularly through the ankle joint. So we started off towards the neck, top of the vertebrae. We worked our way down through our hips, our knees, and through to our ankles. I do 2 more of these, always like a calf raise, makes my ankles feel freed up a little bit. All done. Repeat any that you found were effective. Take some from either of the other sessions. Get yourself some water. Back to work when you're ready.